welcome back. It's Melody, and today we're going to be talking about meal planning. And meal planning can be a lot of fun. You can use your creativity to the max in where this is involved. Since it's the cold months, it's the perfect time to get all this squared away. The rest of the year is going to be a breeze if you just have the organization at the front end squared away. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about the best way to organize recipe cards so that meal planning is instantaneous and you can just focus on the joy of cooking. Now, when it comes to food, there's nothing like food to get people together other than humor, but don't worry if we're not funny, we will always have food. So we're gonna get into this video, and the very first thing is that you want to maximize space. So I use inside of this binder, which is from Staples. I highly recommend the one from Staples. It's the best that you can get. You definitely want to get that one. So this binder, I use 3x5 pockets because the 3x5 fits the recipe card perfectly. It wastes no space at all. So I'll link those pockets down below so you can get the perfect size. And when I organize the recipe cards, I use the recipe cards, I write on the blank side, partly because I write really small and I don't want to waste space, but also because these are going to be vertical to not waste space, so it looks a lot better if you're using the blank side. It just is visually appealing. So the first thing that you want is you want the colors to catch you. So when you're cooking, you want to be able to flip to dessert, side. You want to be able to flip to anything and just see the color and know you're in the right section. Just see the color and know that you're in the right section. So that's the idea behind the washi tape. So washi tape is very affordable and you can put it on your recipe cards, but if you don't have washi tape, you can use your markers, you can use your watercolor paints as well. You can use anything to mark the colors just to make it vibrant so it really pops. So before we talk about how to meal plan really easily, to make it so easy, we're going to talk about what we keep in the pockets because we want to maximize the space. We have a legend here of the colors, what each color represents. The first color, which is the seersucker, is main dishes. So that's the one that you're going to use the most. And then soups. Now, if the soup is a main dish, meaning the soup is a whole meal in and of itself, then it doesn't belong in the soup category, because to me, when I think of soup, I think of a side soup, soup and salad, that kind of thing. So if it's a main soup, that it's a hearty soup, then it goes into the main because it's going to be a whole meal in and of itself. The next thing is sides. So sides include salads. The next list is smoothies and desserts, and I pretty much only focus on my blueberry smoothie. So this is a luxury category. If I don't make anything from that category in the week, it doesn't matter. So long as I make my blueberry smoothie, that's good. So for me, I can have trouble focusing. So if you have any troubles, whether it's you have trouble with your weight, you have trouble focusing, look up the foods that really help that. So if you have trouble focusing sometimes, then meditation obviously helps, but when it comes to food, blueberries and nuts really help. They really help. So smoothies, I pretty much only focus on blueberry smoothie. And if you want to know what the blueberry smoothie with honey that I make every day, then I'll put that in the morning video for you guys. The last category is breakfast. And so lunch goes into the main because it's a hearty meal. The reason why I have breakfast is because every so often in the weekend I want to make pancakes or waffles or something like that. And then all of the breakfast foods will go into that category all the way at the end. You could have a last category, which would be DIYs. So there's about 3 things that I make in-house: laundry detergent, soap, candles, and then that's kind of like a recipe in and of itself. So you can have that last category right there. You make scents or rose water, things like that, you want to have that in your DIY category, so it's just all in one area. The idea is to just have everything in one area so you're not frazzled and spread apart. Again, like me, if you want to focus, then the key is just to get everything in one area. So therefore it's so easy, just come to one area. And in my closet I have all of my hobbies all in one area, and it's just, you just come to that area and you can look at what hobby you want to do for the day. It's all there. So the last thing I keep in my pocket is all of my shopping lists, and I make these myself. You can use your phone, but I just like having paper because I like seeing it. And it's so much cheaper just to make your own paper, especially if you have sewing supplies, you have a scissors, just make your own instead of buying postage all the time, especially for something like a shopping list that's just going to get damaged and crumpled up in your pocket anyway. So what I do is I just grab a regular printer paper, 8x11. I grab my sewing circular saw, and my sewing mat, and on there I just cut it into 4. I go down, cut it into 4. Use one paper at a time when you're cutting, because then it will cut very smoothly. And don't worry if it's a little bit lopsided, you can trim it at the end, or you can just leave it the way it is because it adds character. And this will really help also when you're using your washi tape and you want to cut it down to size along the sides of your along the sides of your recipe cards. You want to use this because it's going to be so much faster and so much easier. You definitely want to have these, and they're so affordable that you might as well just have it. You don't need a huge sewing mat if you don't sew. You can just get a small cutting mat, and it really helps with crafts too. When you're doing crafts, having a cutting mat is very important. So on my shopping list at the very front, I have one shopping list that's the main shopping list that I put everything that I normally buy, or things maybe that I want to be eating. For instance, if I want to be adding beets to my salad more, I'll put beets at the bottom. And therefore I come to my shopping list, and I'm going to make my next new shopping list. And the way that I make my shopping list is I pick out the recipe cards I'm going to make for the week, and I just load them all up side by side, and then I look at the top shopping list of everything I normally get, and I make my shopping list from that. And it's so fast because you see on your recipe cards, and you can even make it easier if you have a marker or color pencil. You can color pencil the recipe, you can color pencil the ingredients that you normally need to get on each recipe card. So for instance, if you have a smoothie, there's a lot of things you already have on you, like frozen veg, frozen blueberries, but you always run out of almond milk, for instance. Then you can highlight the almond milk so that when you're glancing at your recipe cards and you're writing them down to your shopping list, it's instantaneous because you can just see. You're not going to have all the spices. Spices aren't cluttering up what you need to buy because you didn't run out of them, and it's all right there for you. In the cabinet of my pantry, I have 2 magnetic boards, and on one side is my shopping list of things like spices and things I run out throughout the week, and then on the other side are the recipes that I use all the time, one of them being my blueberry smoothie that we'll see in the morning routine. But I have all of that all in one area, easy to see. So since I'm from Hawaii, I eat a lot of rice, so then the rice recipe card is always there, because if I have no side, I know what side I'm going to be having. It's so easy to make, and it never goes stale like bread. It's just there all the time. You come to the beginning of the week and you grab out the recipe cards that you'll be cooking on that week, and then you pick out a day that you want to go shopping. So you grab out the recipe cards you'd like to be cooking for that week. So for me, it will be three main, 1 soup, 1 salad, and then the rest is all extra. When I'm coming to it, I go ahead and write down all of the ingredients, and then I'll also write down a lunch that I'll be eating throughout that week. I'll have 1 main lunch usually throughout that week. I'll have the lunch there, and I will have my smoothie ingredients, my apples, you know, my salsa and chips, the things I always get every week. It's all right there. So the last thing I want to say is to be easy on yourself and not to make everything from scratch initially, especially. So there should always be, and if you've been cooking for a long time, you already know this, but there should always be a couple of meals that you can just grab, and it's always in the freezer ready to go. That's not leftovers, that you can just warm up easily for those days that life just knocks you out. Just grab those meals, and then you're back on the horse and you're ready to go again. So therefore, when it comes to those things, I have another card that I have those things that I just don't, it's not worth it for me to make it myself. Almond milk being one of those things. I always buy it already made. So there's about 5 to 10 things that I always buy pre-made. I'm not going to make it because I either don't eat it enough or it's just going to take too much time. Everything I have made at least once by myself, including bread, dressings, bread. I've made everything at least once by myself, and some things just are not worth it. It's going to take so much time that you want to really pick your battles. That's the key in life. Pick your battles. Don't spread out all your energy across the whole battlefield. Just pick a couple of places to zone in. So for me, that's 3 main, and if I can cook those 3 main every week, then it's going to be a good week. So minimalism is a lot about one bowl eating. And I'll have a couple of examples on Instagram for you guys of my favorite one bowl dishes. Hope you guys like this recipe planning video. If you did, give me an upvote, give me a subscribe. Again, I'll have the rest of how to design your top covers, how to design them to make them really pop. on my Instagram. So if you guys haven't added me on Instagram, add me there. If you have any other tips on recipe planning that have worked for you throughout the years, definitely let us know. Thank you guys so much for watching.